Okie doke. It's 9 o'clock. Hello, hello. Welcome to Farmer Traders, where I will walk you through what I see on the charts. Mostly right now, Bitcoin and Ethereum are what I'm focusing on. Mostly Bitcoin, somewhat Ethereum, and I'll probably start branching out into other cryptos and Forex soon. But right now, all I'm focusing on is Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's where most of my money's at, and so that's what I'm tracking. So happy Tuesday. It's 9 o'clock, June 29th. Bitcoin's currently trading at 35,850, it looks like, somewhere around there. And let's see what we got on the chart. So, I believe yesterday we drew in this line, this diagonal, and this diagonal, and this diagonal. Did we draw in all three of those? Yeah, we did. We drew in all three of those last night. I kind of tweaked them a little bit earlier today, zoomed in on some lower time frames, and kind of just adjusted them, tweaked them, perfected them. Perfection is not possible in TA and technical analysis. It's all subjective. But to where I wanted them, I kind of tweaked them. Kind of where my eye saw the chart was leading me. And then I also added in this trend line. This is one that I hadn't seen before until today. I was just kind of trying to find another view. I kind of had a feeling there was some resistance that I might not be seeing just based on where Bitcoin was. It went up. Today we had a breakout of this trend line. We'll go to the daily. Daily just ended, so we closed green, or on my charts blue, above this 35,500 line. Closed green above that, but then halfway through the day I noticed that we were in this resistance here, that we didn't really quite make it all the way up to my next horizontal level, which I thought was kind of strange. So I was like, okay, there must be some other resistance here, and lo and behold, I found this pretty clear line. You see it better on the 8-hour. Yeah, going all the way back to 9th of April-ish. Kind of a hit, not super prominent line, but the market definitely sees it and respects it. Just kind of this descending trend line. So a little bit more of a minor resistance. I don't think it's anything that Bitcoin's gonna have trouble getting through, but that's kind of what slowed it down today, it looks like. But we got out of this line here, which was a line that we broke out of earlier in the month, and then came back below it. We're out above it again, and I would look at this. You see, when we broke out above this trend line. Where did we hit resistance and get rejected? The one I just drew in today. So that's a pretty significant resistance, seeing as how when we first broke out of this trend line, this is the trend line that we rejected, and we're just now testing it for the second time. So let's see if we get the breakout and resumption off. Currently, kind of trading up and down around that line. If you zoom in, we're just above it. We broke out very weakly and just kind of, hovered above it. Now we're right on top of it. My bet is, overnight Asia trading session, we're probably going to come down below it. Might test 35.5. Might go as low as 34.6. I wouldn't be surprised to wake up and Bitcoin's, trading in this range. Often happens when you go into or I've noticed at least a pattern that it seems that if you go into the evenings with Bitcoin kind of weak, 9 times out of 10, Asia just dumps it further. Sometimes they'll reverse it, but it seems like more often than not, from my experience, anytime you go into the evening trading session for Eastern Standard Time with some weak price action, Asia kind of dumps. But Bitcoin's there's a lot of bullishness going on around out there in the crypto sphere, primarily where I follow on Twitter. A lot of bullish sentiment coming back. So who knows? Maybe Asia will pump it tonight. We did close green on the daily above a resistance that was first broken or last broken about almost a week and a half ago. We came down below it and tested it a couple times, couldn't get above it. Now we're finally above this 35.5 line. So, maybe this holds overnight. I'd say probably hold overnight. I think we'll test it again overnight, and then maybe we'll wake up and we'll be somewhere in this range again. Who knows? I'm not trading right now. I'm just following the chart, following the price, taking theoretical trades in my brain, but not placing any actual trades. I think I said last night that a good possible entry would have been here at this 35.5 resistance. I drew in my hypothetical trade setup. Stop loss somewhere around 34.6, entry somewhere around 35.5, and I would be going for the swing up to, if I were taking this trade, I think that we could swing up to 40,000, where about 40,500, we're going to see some pretty significant resistance, is what I'm anticipating. Every time we've come up, since we've broken down below it, every time we've come up to this trend line, we have been rejected. Swiftly came up and then was rejected when we first broke below it. Tested it with some wicks here, came up, wicked out of it, rejected. So we've been below this trend line since May, over a month now, just range bound here. So I think that we're still going to have some trouble getting above it. I think that if we do test it in the coming days, or if we do come up to it, we're going to test it, probably bounce off of it, and then maybe rebound out. So if I were trading this setup, I would be looking to enter here and exit up here. And, could have made that trade on the breakout. I didn't, and I'm still not going to make this trade, but now that we have confirmed breakout, I think it's even better of a setup to go ahead and set a buy order right about here, maybe a little above it if you just want to be safe that you catch it. 2.5% stop loss or so. I think it's a pretty good setup. I think it is. I'm not taking it because I'm just telling myself to wait. I have some other reasons to believe Bitcoin may resume downwards. I don't know what Composite Man out there is doing, but I know that he's got some tricks up his sleeve, and I'm anticipating some screwiness with the price of Bitcoin. We got Jack Dorsey, Twitter CEO, supposedly meeting up or setting up an event for Bitcoin sometime in July, from what I've heard, and he has some talk or something in the works with Elon Musk. I've seen some suspicion on Twitter that this is going to be the creation of a seeded narrative that, the powers that be, the money manipulators, the people running the show and manipulating the market, this is going to be their narrative to back a Bitcoin pump. Anytime that there's a pump or a dump of a big asset like Bitcoin, you got a narrative to support it. So yeah, maybe we'll see a pump next month. Maybe we'll be coming up to this trend line sometime next month, and then maybe they'll spin some narrative to support that, get retail back into the buy. Maybe Jack Dorsey will convince Elon Musk that there's energy efficient ways to do Bitcoin mining, and Kathy Woods of ARK Invest is supposed to be there, and she's got a crap ton of money with her fund and invested into Tesla and other green energy companies. So they're probably going to come up with some narrative and some coalition, task force to, we're going to start some Bitcoin mining, solar powered Tesla battery operated mining, blah 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 blah, totally 100% green. I say that's a good thing, I guess, for the environment and whatnot, but I roll my eyes because it's just pure and utter manipulation and a way to lure retail back into buying, so that way retail will pump their bags. you got to see through this stuff. It's it's just a game they play. But hey, you can make money with them. So that's what I plan on doing. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Bitcoin pumps in the coming days. We'll see if we, I'm anticipating based on this trade setup I've got going here. I'm anticipating we're gonna work our way over the next few days up to about 40,000 and probably hit a rejection, and then break out. On the flip side, though, that's the bullish case and definite possibility. Wyckoff analysis distribution. This is still following a Wyckoff accumulation pattern schematic, and right on time. On this move up with Wyckoff, and Wyckoff predicts a zigzaggy move out of here, and then Launchpad. Depending on where we are, Wyckoff though. Wyckoff tends to have these tests of tends to have a selling climax, and then a test of some support, and then a spring out. People are saying we're hitting the spring out. I'm not convinced. I think that if we are in Wyckoff accumulation, this could have been the selling climax. Maybe this was the selling climax. And then maybe this is our first test, because these two people are saying that like this and this were the tests, and then this is the spring. I think that because these are just wicks, these might not have been very significant tests of support down here. I think that you could have had selling climax, and then test, which in that case we would expect somewhere over here to have spring, and spring is going to, I don't know, maybe we wick down to 18, 19, 20,000. But I think that we might still see a spring that dips, candle somewhere, maybe down here, high 20s, with even wicks going, who knows, down to this range, maybe as low as 22, 24, something like that. But all I have to say, I think that there's at least a 50-50 chance that we get more downside in Bitcoin, and we see lower lows than we've seen since end of last year. So why do I think that? Well, let's look at our handy dandy log charts. So this is Bitcoin charted on a logarithmic scale. This is an old chart. Let's look at this one. Oh, this is wrong layout. We want log charts for the live stream. Alright, so handy dandy log chart. Bitcoin y-axis here is on, the price is on a logarithmic scale, so exponential increase in price compresses the price, so you can see longer range on the smaller screen. But basically what I'm seeing here, I drew in some lines, some magic lines of support and resistance, tracking Bitcoin all the way back to, first wave, first 4 years, or the first, second 4-year cycle, I think. But, the 2013 bull market, going all the way back to this. I started with this trend line at the bottom, this primary trend line. I think this is your major support of Bitcoin. The only time we've broken below this was in the March 2020 liquidity crisis. And other than that, Bitcoin stayed above it and respected it, and followed it pretty closely, I'd say. And then I got some clone trend lines off of it. Again, this technical analysis is totally subjective, but I'm pretty confident in my analysis, and I think that Bitcoin totally respects these lines. So what you see, or what I'm seeing up here, is we are into some resistance with this trend line. And I can prove, or it looks very clear to me, that Bitcoin, when it gets below this resistance, it's hard for it to break out of it. So we first got above this trend line in 2013, during the first wave of the 2013 bull market cycle. So the 2013 bull market cycle had 2 waves. Broke above that trend line, this one, and then even broke above this next resistance that I drew in. and then came back and tested this line. And then after we tested it, breaking out and testing is good at this line, because when you break out and test, it tends to go up again. But then we broke out, blow off top, bear market starts, we break down below it, break down, retest, resumption down, and then we could not get back above this trend line until the next bull market cycle in 2017. So you broke below it in 2015, and then you were below it for nearly 2 years until March 2017, April 2017 rather, where you break out of it again, retest it, not quite full retest, but this is technical analysis, it's not perfect, but you come down and get, basically retest, and then look, you're off to the races again, blow off top. It's the same thing that happened here, except you just had a double wave. You had breakout, retest, resumption. Breakout, retest, resumption, all right? And then you had this kind of anomaly after the 2017 bull market cycle where you crashed, went back below this line, and then briefly came out of it again and was rejected below it. 2020 liquidity came back out, and then look where we are now. We went super overheated. Bitcoin broke out, never retested. It tried. You can see it tried. We wick, but we didn't really get a good retest. We just kind of went whoosh, and then probably some market manipulation. Who knows what happened, but we didn't really clear this trend line. We went out, and we sort of danced around it. Couldn't really pick up steam, and then we broke down. Broke down. And then we, up until honestly a couple weeks ago, we were still kind of dancing on top of it. And then now during this last push down, we got significantly below this trend line. We are still below this trend line. We are currently trying to test this trend line. What I'm getting at is this looks to me like it could be a breakdown, retest, resumption down. You flip over invert the scale to get the opposite look. It looks like a breakout, retest, resumption. So I think we might see further downside. I think at least we're going to retest and then maybe have your spring, Wyckoff actual spring. I don't think this was the spring, or I think at least there's a possibility that this was not the spring. I think we see a spring potentially to here. Maybe your candle will close here for weekly candle or daily candle even. But maybe we even see a wick down to here. Who knows? You got a lot of people leverage long on Bitcoin right now. Leverage money on leverage long on Bitcoin. Bitfinex is at an all-time high, I believe. Yep, totally. There's a freaking lot of money pushing leverage on Bitcoin right now, just waiting to get completely cremated. Shorts aren't very big on Bitcoin right now, on Bitfinex, which none of this means anything, honestly. It's just something that's interesting for me to look at. You can't really make any trading decisions around this stuff, but all I see here, though, is there's just plenty of liquidity out there in terms of accounts that could get liquidated long. And we've seen it happen before, folks. We've seen it happen here. We've seen it happen, all these crazy ass wicks where people getting liquidated. So yeah, if we have a significant resumption down and spring off of here, you're gonna see a wick, even somewhere in this range. So be prepared for that. It's not a bad thing if it happens. It just means we have to wait a little longer. Yeah, I'm not convinced that we are in the clear just yet. A lot of people are taking trades and they're ready to go. If you're taking trades, set a tight stop loss and don't risk too much of your capital. Use risk management. Learn about risk management if you don't know what it is. But yeah, technically on the short term, Bitcoin is making bullish moves to the upside. We're clearing some resistances. We're closing with green candles above resistance. We're making higher highs. So, we're making repairs. Nature's healing itself. But it's got some work to do, and it's got to prove itself. I'm not going to feel happy, or I'm not going to feel confident that we are back into upward momentum until we get above this line, and or we get above, I'd say and after until we get above this line. So about the same place probably. For the other one was at what, 40,500. So here, yeah, if we break out of this, we'll be around 38,000. So if we get above here, I'll feel pretty good. Not taking trades, but I'll feel better. I'll be like, okay, less of a risk of this retest resumption down that could happen. I think that we could retest and resume down, but who knows? We'll see. And then if we can get above this line, I'll be like, all right, we're out of this range bound area. Wyckoff accumulation is not happening anymore. Once you clear this high, you are out of the Wyckoff accumulation if that is where we are. So you can, kind of be a little more confident that you're not going to see any more crazy springs or tests of really low lows. And then, yeah, we can look for some patterns and action that will lead us out of this line. And then once we are out of this line, we are, hopefully that's going to be the signal towards great things and skyrocket to all-time highs. So yeah, that's it for Bitcoin. That's where we are today. If you're taking trades, good luck out there. Godspeed. I'm not. Ethereum's, doing pretty good too. We don't know what this line is. Oh no, that's the price line. Kind of the same story. Breaking out of some of these horizontal resistances. There's no real diagonal resistance that I see right now. I mean, you could probably draw this line here. What are we on the daily? Yeah, that's probably resistance. Could even bring it in. Oh, well, then that turns into support. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see much of a line here. Don't want to force anything. Let me make this solid, though. Let me try it again. We want a solid line. Maybe there's a parallel of this one. Yeah, that doesn't help me. Let's go to the 8 hours. Trying to see if there's any kind of diagonal resistance that I'm missing here, kind of like what I saw with Bitcoin. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't see anything. I do not see anything. Yeah, I think that we're just trying to make some higher highs on Ethereum right now. Close bullish on the daily. We're clearing some levels that we lost. Yeah, I think I'd like to see it get above, really, above this level before I'm bullish on Ethereum. I mean, I'm bullish on Ethereum, but until I think that we're, in the clear for further downside, probably looking to get above 29,000 is a pretty clear area of resistance that we're going to need to make it out of. If I were trading, I'd be looking kind of at these levels I drew in, maybe doing some reevaluation of these levels to make sure that they are tight, but I'm not trading Ethereum right now, just tracking the price to see how my technical analysis is, practice it. But yeah, I think that you want to clear about 29,000 before, or I would like to clear 29,000 before I would consider taking any trades on Ethereum. Yeah. Nature's healing, that's what I see overall. However, I see definite potential for another melt your face off to the downside. I'd like to see it, honestly. I'd like to see Bitcoin drop down to 20. I might set, if we get below this, I'll set some buys down here at this level. It'd be great to see those prices. I've never seen those prices since buying Bitcoin, so I'm not calling for it, but I just see it as a definite possibility that we spike down to here, or yeah. Yep, I can't ignore it. I can't ignore this. I cannot ignore this. This is worrisome. I mean, even if you lower, ooh, I forgot these crazy log charts are weird. But even if you draw this line lower, it's still retesting it, you know? Even if you were to draw it here based on this is probably even more accurate, and it's still doing the same thing. It's not above it by any means, it's below it. Yeah. Yeah, we could just be testing a cloned line of this line. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, good luck out there. God bless. If you're actually watching me, thank you for joining me. Come hang with me every night, 8 or 9 p.m. Haven't decided yet. Probably 8 p.m. Tonight was a little different because I was hanging out virtually with a friend of mine. So, yeah. Thanks for joining me, y'all. Ending now.